Good day, I'm Dr. Evony Lambito Alisa Devesa, and we will be now discussing about cognitive distortions or cognitive errors. So these are actually ways that our minds convince us about something that is not actually real or true. So it's about inaccurate thoughts that reinforce the negative thoughts and emotions. So we will tackle 15 common cognitive distortions. And tell me, what cognitive distortions do you have, or your very close friend have? Friends or a loved one has, or any family member has. So we'll go through these 15 common distortions. First is mental filter. So that means someone is thinking of any negative detail or negative event out of those positive ones, and then he or she will magnify that negative event. For example, you have an outing with your friends, or you have a party with your friends, and then there's a very grandiose party. There are a lot of people. You enjoy the party actually. You enjoy the food. You enjoy being with your friends. And then you dance, you sing during the party. And then one negative detail happened was that you saw your ex with another, or with his new girlfriend. And then after that, if you have mental filter, you will only think of the negative detail of that event. So you will say the party sucks, or the party is not fun at all because you saw your ex with a new girlfriend, and then and you feel bad, like it made your day ruined. Okay, it ruined your day. It ruined your day. So that's mental filtering, no? Okay, you filter negative detail with out of those positive ones, and then you magnify that. Even though you enjoyed like 80% of the day, but then after seeing your ex 20% of the day, you make it like it's 100% bad day, or not good party, not fun. That's mental filtering. Do you have that? Or do you know someone who has that mental filter? So another cognitive distortion is polarized thinking. Black or white, or all or nothing. For example, you have to be perfect, or for example in the exam you have to be perfect or nothing. You're a failure. If you're not perfect, then you're a failure. Like, you have to be white to be beautiful. If you're not white, you're not beautiful. Something like that. Black or white, all or nothing. So it must be the extremes. Like the most beautiful to be beautiful, but if you're the second, you're not beautiful anymore. Something like that. So, do you know someone who has that polarized thinking? Like, if he's not the top of the class, or he's not the winner of the competition, he's a failure. He or she doesn't belong to the group if she is not, or he is not perfect. Black or white, or polarized thinking. Next cognitive distortion is overgeneralization. So that means a person is thinking that if he failed this certain subject, he thinks he will fail those all subjects. So if he has a bad friend, he thinks that he will forever have a bad friends. So overgeneralization. Because of a single event, he would generalize that all events like that would have an outcome, or a failure outcome, or would not be successful if he or she has a failed relationship, that person would expect that other relationships that would be after that would also fail. So he would avoid having a relationship. So overgeneralization. Do you have that? Or a friend? Family? Another cognitive distortion or cognitive error is jumping into conclusions. Like you think you are reading minds, you're a fortune teller, that like you are convinced with your predictions. Like if you are invited to join a competition, singing, dancing competition, and you think you would fail that competition, then you would conclude that you would fail that competition because you predicted it. So you would not join the competition because you have thought, you are convinced that your prediction that you would not win prevails in your mind. So you avoid. Or for example, if you're thinking that you will have a failed relationship, then your prediction will bother you in your decisions and you would avoid dating anyone because you're thinking that if you will enter a relationship, it would fail. Do you know someone who has that cognitive distortion? Jumping to conclusions without any evidences. Another cognitive error or cognitive distortion, that one is thinking about magnifying events. So magnifying. For example, you are thinking of a situation and then you think of the worst that can happen. Like going inside the building and your thoughts are going like the building would fall, there will be an earthquake, something bad will happen, so you don't want to go inside the building. Actually, most anxiety or panic attacks have this magnifying cognitive distortion or catastrophizing some event that would less likely happen, even though it can happen. Another with magnifying is minimizing. Like for example, your qualities, you have the best qualities, and then you minimize it. That you're thinking about that as an imperfections or your weaknesses. So either magnifying the event, thinking of the worst, or minimizing anything that is actual event qualities, and then you think of it or lessening its effect or qualities. Another cognitive distortion is personalization. You're thinking of anything that would happen, it's all about you. Like for example, you are late, you and your friends or your colleagues are late in the meeting, and then you personalize it as you are the one who caused that because you are not going to work earlier, you didn't fetch your friend earlier, you didn't prepare your things earlier. You personalize it. You're always thinking that you are the cause of this and that. So another example is for example, you have a teamwork, and then your team had activities and tasks to do, but after those finishing and achieving those tasks, you didn't win the competition or the event. So you're thinking that you are the one who caused that because you didn't give your best. Maybe if you give your best, you will win, or if ever you will help more, you give effort more, or doing something better than you supposed to have done, then it's all about you. You personalize everything. You are the cause. You maybe if you are better, maybe if you that would be successful, that would not fail. There is also cognitive distortion, which is control fallacy. So you have you're thinking about the complete control of everything, like external control, that you have a poor performance in work, and then you're frustrated because of the work is poor. Your boss have to tell you that you have to work overtime. And then the internal control, for example, you're asking your friend that why aren't you happy? Is that because of me? Something like that. You always think that it's in your control. What's happening is because you haven't controlled that thing. Okay, you always have these issues about control. You have to control this, you are in control of that. So if there is problem with it, then it is because you are not in control and you get frustrated. Another cognitive distortion is fallacy of fairness. Are you that kind of person that is thinking that life is unfair? This is unfair. Always fairness and unfairness. You're always thinking about that. So, like for example, if you have a twin sister, like for example, like me, if you're not given the same gift because you're twins, this is not fair because we're twins. So if you give her a gift, then you have to give me a gift. So that must be fair. So you have that judgment about fairness, but that's your own judgment. Always think that things aren't going beyond your thinking, like about fairness. Okay. So the next cognitive distortion is blaming. You are blaming other people for your own responsibility, or you're blaming yourselves for things that you cannot control. So you're always blaming. Okay. Like for example, if there is a problem with work, you blame your coworkers, you blame your boss, you blame a lot of people there, but you don't blame yourselves. But there are times also that you blame yourselves even though the things you cannot control, like force majeure, like disasters. You cannot control that, but you blame yourselves that you would be better doing something outside the house, even though it's flooding or there is this disaster. Okay, so you blame. You always blame. Also, the should statements, should or must or ought to. Like for example, you should follow the rules. You should do this. You should do that. And what is the effect to other people? Is there will be anger, resentment, frustrations. So when a person also violates the should statements or rules, it also makes him or herself guilty. So you should, you have to do this. You should. Another cognitive distortion is emotional reasoning. So you base all the facts and truthfulness of things because of your emotions. For example, you feel inadequate, you feel stupid, you feel boring, and that must be true because I feel that way. Maybe I'm stupid, maybe I'm boring because I feel it. I can feel it. Okay, so you based your facts, evidences just through your emotions. No analytical, no evidences. Okay, so you based it on your emotions. Like I hate you because I feel I hate you, so I hate you even though there is no reason to hate someone. Any emotions that actually interfere with your relationships, and you believe that to be true even though it's not true. So you based it only with your emotions. And this actually all of the cognitive distortions affects relationships, but this one is also common. The feelings, the emotions. I feel it. I know it's true because I feel it. Okay, another cognitive distortion or cognitive errors that is actually very common, especially in relationship. with girlfriend boyfriends is the fallacy of change. So you expect a person, well, like for example, you met your boyfriend at the age of 23. So your boyfriend is 25, and then for 25 years your boyfriend have been behaving in ways that is not comfortable for you, like doing things that you think is not proper, or wearing clothes that you think is not presentable for 25 years. And then after meeting you, you expect him to change when you are already in a relationship. So you have that fallacy of change. You think that your boyfriend must change in order to make you happy, to make the relationship better. So you expect a change in his behavior, in his actions, which is even a habit already formed or molded attitude or behaviors or practices. Okay, so a fallacy of change is also common. And I think one of you, your friend, your family members have this fallacy. Maybe? Do you think so? Okay, next, cognitive distortion is global labeling or mislabeling. This is an extreme form of overgeneralization. So that means, for example, if you are a failure in this specific situation, you globalize or you label yourself as a failure. Okay, failure in everything, something like that. Okay, it is an extreme form of overgeneralization. That's global labeling. So the next cognitive distortion is always being right. So you always think that during an argument you always win because you are the right one. So you have to always ask those opponent or anyone you are arguing with to prove themselves or their opinions because they are not the correct ones. Okay, you are the right one. So everything you say, everything you do, you are right. So I'm the right one. Always being right. Mr. and Mrs. Right. Okay, you have that label to someone, do you? Okay, the last one is the heaven's reward fallacy. So you're thinking that if you are working hard, you are sacrificing yourself, your happiness, everything, then the right one, our God or those who are above us, will reward us. So you have that heaven's reward fallacy, that God will reward you for your sacrifices and your hard work. This is actually also a form of fallacy of fairness, because if you are fair, you have that reward that will be given to you if you do the right thing or what is fair. So why is it important that you have to know if you have cognitive distortions? It is important because most of us are thinking that yes, we are mentally healthy, but there are actually cognitive errors that happens almost every day in our lives that affects our decisions, our behavior, and our relationships. So it's very important for us to identify what cognitive errors or cognitive distortions we have. So if you know or you can identify yourself with those cognitive distortions, you may comment below and you may ask questions regarding those cognitive distortions. So if you have learned through this video, please like, share, and subscribe. For more important informations and for future updates, please subscribe to my video. Thank you. God bless.